What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Pro Source Pod. On this one, we're going to be discussing coaches not allowing their pitchers to shake off pitches. So whether it's a high school coach or a college coach, I've played at schools where our coaches wouldn't let us shake off pitches. We had to throw whatever they put down, and I know other people have experienced the same thing.
Was that wrong?
Yeah. Now, I'll give my take on this first. I'm completely against it. I'm completely against pitchers having to throw exactly what coaches call in certain counts. I get that there are some situations where scouting reports come into play and it's like, cool. But as a pitcher, I know that when I have trust in my stuff and I have trust in one specific pitch specifically, and I want to throw it in that count, and I can't shake to it if it doesn't get called, that's annoying. And that really, really pissed me off in the past. And I had a situation where I threw my changeup. My changeup was my best pitch in college. At one of my schools, our pitching coach was completely against right-on-right changeups. I'm a right-handed pitcher. Wasn't allowed to throw my changeup to 75% of the hitters I faced. And it was very annoying.
Well, I mean, in general, just like, I don't understand the point of taking out one of your pitcher's best pitches.
Yeah.
So it's like, philosophically, it's like, I get it. If you like throwing a certain pitch, like, I like my guys to throw curveballs. Well, what if he doesn't have a curveball? Like, what if his off speed is literally a sweeper or like a slider, like a hard slide? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, oh, like I like my pitchers that have like a big like 12-6 curveball.
Yeah.
Well, not everyone has that.
Right.
So it's like to try to get people to throw that, like if you work on it the whole winter, I guess, and then like you kind of have it or you don't. It's like, well, if you don't have it, you're going to pitch.
Yeah. And it's not even like
what was he big on?
he was really, really big on breaking balls early in the count, which I had no problem with. Like I would
It
throw.
didn't matter if it was curveball, slider.
Yeah, and it was like it was whatever breaking ball you had. Like he wouldn't be a guy who like pushed like, hey, you need to throw a curveball. It was like because not everyone threw a curveball. I was a lower slot guy. I didn't.
But
have
like
a
if your
curveball.
best pitch is your changeup, like I would utilize that.
I wanted to throw it literally all the time.
And like, did they know it was your best pitch?
Yeah.
Did they ever look at it?
We
and,
talked about it,
and they're like, wow, like this is a really good pitch.
We went over the TrackMan numbers, or that we had Rapsodo. We went over the Rapsodo numbers, and he was like, "Dude, this
guy doesn't like Rapsodo.
Rapsodo is kind of just like the Walmart TrackMan. It's still useful, but it's like we went over the Rapsodo numbers.
It's really not. It's not off by any. It's like if anything, like just a little bit different. But besides the point,
No, it's not. It's not a bad product. Rapsodo is a good product. TrackMan is just better. We can both agree on that.
I think that Eric just affiliates Rapsodo with
this pitching coach.
Yes.
Not being able to throw my
Yes.
changeup. No, that's not it. But I like where your head's at. So like we looked at the numbers and it was like, dude, this is a legit pitch. Like 230 tilt. I know you don't know what these numbers mean, but like 230 tilt, low spin, like 22 inches arm side run. Like it was a really, really good pitch. I didn't know I wouldn't be throwing this to right-handed hitters. Didn't throw it to a single righty.
But I don't understand. Did he ever give you a reason why you're not throwing a changeup to a right-handed hitter?
Dude,
Doesn't like it.
I
Like,
tried talking to him about pitch sequencing.
keep in mind that when Eric would try to talk to him back then, like he wasn't very firm or assertive, so he probably like beat around the bush.
This
a
was
little bit.
over text too.
Yeah, so that didn't help you.
It was over text too, and he kind of ripped me the next day, and like hung it over my head.
What did he say to you?
Hung it over my head the rest of the season. He was like, "It's my job to call pitches. It's your job to execute." Which cool, no problem. I get that. But it's my best pitch. It's my best pitch, and I don't throw it to right-handed hitters. Do you know how absurd that sounds? I have so much.
Like he literally would
confidence
say,
in-
like, "Hey, we're not throwing a changeup to a righty."
Well, it was everyone. It wasn't just me. It was everyone. Like
It was like
lefties.
it was a philosophy. It was like, "Hey, lefties,
like-
you're not throwing your changeup to lefties."
You're not throwing your changeup to.
It doesn't make a difference.
Same-handed.
I'm
hitter.
gonna say it doesn't.
It doesn't make a difference.
As a former hitter, it didn't make a difference if I saw a righty or a lefty. The honest to God truth, the only thing about a lefty was it's like you don't see that many lefties because there's not tons.
not
of
as
good,
many.
There's
Yeah.
not tons of good lefties. So like if you get a funky lefty every once in a while, it's like, oh, that looks different, but it's like He's a funky lefty, and you don't see lefties every single day.
Correct.
So, like, the whole idea of, like, oh, we're just not going to throw this to certain batters. It's like, from a batter's perspective, they just see a ball. They don't really care what slot it's coming from.
And you
what
guys
tilt.
don't see spin.
No, it
You
makes no
don't see
sense.
spin.
It's not like, oh, here's a changeup. I'm
Yeah.
going to tee off because I'm a righty seeing a right-handed changeup. Like, that doesn't make any
It's
sense.
stupid. If you throw a bad pitch, you throw a bad pitch. It doesn't matter if it's a fastball, a fucking slider,
Yeah.
changeup. It doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter if you throw a good pitch, right? Like you throw a
Like,
gross
by
breaking
that
ball.
logic, it's like, okay, like, I guess lefties, hey, we can't throw a curveball to a righty.
Yeah.
It's going to go into their barrel.
Sure. And like,
No,
and
like,
again,
it doesn't make any sense.
yeah. And like, this isn't me shitting on my former coaches.
A little bit.
We were a really successful team. Like I had a decent year, but it was like, dude, just let me throw my best pitch to righties. You know what I mean? Like, let me throw my best pitch. And like, there's a thing where like I said before, scouting report comes into play, and it's like, do you really trust this guy to shake off and call his own pitches? I get that. But if a pitcher has confidence in one pitch and it's his best pitch and he throws it all the time and he's worked on it and it's really good, dude, just let him fucking shake to it. Let him shake to it. Let me throw my goddamn changeup to righties. That's all I wanted to do.
Well, I mean, from like a catcher's perspective,
And
right?
you were a head baseball coach for prep, so it's like, I never asked you that. Were they calling? Was your catcher calling the game,
Dude, so
or were
that's
you
like
calling
that's
pitches
its
from the
own
dugout?
thing, right? So it's interesting because it's like with my guys, right? They were like Fraley wanted me to call pitches, but Bill
They have to learn.
But Bill with DJ, like DJ would do it sometimes on his own, and then sometimes like if they wanted something, like Bill or Nay, whoever wanted something in a certain situation, like they would make it known. But even at that level, like, so when I was playing, right, I guess you kind of just have to like, you have to study and learn what to throw to certain people and how to like work with your pitchers best. Know what they have, know what works for them. Like, they're not going to know who Vanderslice is, but for an example, like Vanderslice, his sophomore year, right? He came in, he could not locate a fastball. His slider was disgusting. He threw it for a strike, like every time. So I started calling, like, because I call pitches from like literally freshman year. It was like 4 games in, and then there was like a weird thing where like it wasn't that weird. Like the team picked it up, and then like Kenny realized I was good, and he was like, "It's just you. You're good. Like you got this." And then like I just embraced it because I was calling before a little bit, but it was like you had to go through a couple years of learning it through coaches and stuff. So like there's a time and a place when like the catcher learns how to do it, right? Like in your youth, like coaches should be teaching them like sequences, situations,
Absolutely.
like all that stuff.
Which they don't.
They don't anymore, which is bad. So like now, no pitcher should really be calling their game. No pitcher should be calling their game, unless you're Max Scherzer. Like, no pitcher should be calling their game. They shouldn't. Like, trust your catcher. Like, they're the ones seeing it. They see your stuff. Like, they're unbiasedly gonna like be like, listen, like this isn't a good idea.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like back to what I was saying with Vanderslice. Probably called like 75-80% sliders, like first pitch, second pitch. Like that was like, so when we did go to fastball, that was the punch out pitch.
Okay. Because he threw hard.
And people. So eventually the next year he was fine, like with like throwing more pitches. He ended up getting like 3 or 4 pitches, and it was like gross, and like he threw hard. But his first time being up there, like he wasn't locating his fastball at all. But then like if you work backwards with all these guys and you have a slider that's moving like that, like moving like a wiffle ball across the zone, and he's throwing it for a strike, and they're not going to hit it anyway. And then you sneak in like an 86, 87 mile an hour fastball. They're not touching that.
Yeah.
And the fastball doesn't even have to be a strike at that 100%. Point. Because they're going to see it and it's not moving. They're like, oh, I'm going after this. And it's like, that's strike 3.
Yeah.
So it's like, but that's like my example, right? Now, with Kevin, am I going to have him throw 75% off speed? No. He can locate a fastball. So it's like, it comes down to what the pitchers have. And honestly, there's days where it's like, I can go back to like another guy, like Matt Pickus, like, Like, didn't throw the hardest, had one of the best curveballs ever. He can throw it for a strike, put it where I wanted it. Like, had a good changeup, like, had multiple pitches where it's like, this is what we got. But some days it's like, okay, he's not locating this. You're not going to primarily call that. So it's like the trust, this is going to sound crazy. Not that crazy, but the trust should really be in the catcher, but the catcher has to learn through the coaches at a certain age. And then, like, I feel like what's happening in the game right now is because you see it in college now. And, like, pros, I don't know, like, what's going on there, but, like, they're calling pitches too because they have scouting reports, right? So it's like, I know back in the day, like, the catchers literally used to go over the scouting reports and then they would talk with the pitchers and then call. I don't know if it's all just coming from the dugout now, but now it's like a lot of people, like, are just conditioned, like, okay, he said this, okay, throw. So, like, I had designed shakeoffs. Like, you probably had them at some point in your career where it's like literally a design shakeoff. So now the hitter is thinking,
He's
what's
thinking. Yeah.
what's coming?
Yep.
And, like, a design shakeoff, like, we're probably gonna give fastball. Like, I might give you like 2 design shakeoffs, like, where you're shaking a couple times. And it's like, what's going on here? So it's like you use that to kind of play like a mind game where it's like he's not actually shaking, but, like, he is shaking.
Just a quick note on this. Have you ever so at Mercer we would have a design shake off and it would be horns. And sometimes our head coach would have the catcher put down shake until the hitter stepped out.
Yeah, no, we've done that before.
Like, that's a thing. It's
Yeah.
it's a strategic thing, and I agree with it.
Like, there's like another thing you can do is you can have pitchers just stand there,
Yeah,
hold it, not do anything,
and wait
Maybe
for him to
guys
step
step out.
out.
and, like, me as a hitter, like, I would piss off pitchers. So it's like if you're like dicking around doing whatever you're doing, like, I'll step out, I'll wait, I'll step out twice.
Yeah, you're the king of mind games. So I mean, we saw that on display.
No, but it's it's really more so like coaches are very egotistical. And coming from a coach, that's hilarious. But it's like I get, like, certain philosophies or whatever, but to eliminate a pitcher's best pitch or be like, it's my way or the highway with this, like, if you can explain it, that's fine. If you don't have any data support and it can explain it, like, I don't know if I'd want to, like, but that's also like, do you want to be a part of that program? Like, you should do your homework.
100%. Yeah, and it's like it comes down to communication, right? Like,
Like, let me put
Yeah,
on
yeah,
this
yeah.
though. But, like, when I said like kind of like alpha dog shit, like, Kev would try shaking me off, and I knew what he wanted to throw because he would want to just, like, and he'll even admit to this, like, there were many times where he tried shaking me off in certain situations to throw a fastball to a hitter he shouldn't because he wanted to, like, try to alpha dog him, and he would keep shaking me off, and I'd put the same thing down repeatedly, and eventually he would step off and just throw what I wanted. So it's like, but that, like, it always ended up working out.
I was gonna say,
Like, it was always like he would get in, like, certain situations. Like, you got to know your pitchers too. Like,
that's what I was gonna get into.
are they going into harm's way, or is it like, no, like this, like, because there's like there could be some times where it's like a shake. It's like, that's fine. Like, we're good. But there's times where it's like there's ego involved. Like, I'm gonna blow up by him. And it's like, dude, not that. Like, you're not proving anything. Like, let's just get the out. Like, stick to the plan. You're fine. We're not in a dick measuring contest. Like, let's just keep going.
Yeah, and it's like a lot of coaches are stuck in like their old ways.
Yeah.
Because it's like with change ups, I remember this even growing up, like when I got into 13, 14U ball, 15U, like when I started actually throwing different pitches, it was like, oh, change up to lefties, two seams to lefties. Why?
I don't even get that.
Why? That's like a thing though.
But, like, some people don't have a two seam.
Yeah.
Like, they'll throw it and it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Or they throw it and it's like it moves a little bit, but it's significantly slower, and it's like, well, let's not do that. Like,
Yeah. That was actually funny. So the coach that originally recruited me to Mercer, Kearns, like
he
great
was
guy.
big two seam lefty guy.
Dude, he would be texting me before I even stepped to campus. Like when I was a senior in high school, he saw like I went to BBC my senior year and I threw a bullpen and they posted it. My coach from Mercer texts me that night and he's like, "Hey, looks great. You're gonna have to learn a two seam." Like imagine being an 18-year-old kid or
You know, it's funny
17-year-old kid.
in your head. You were probably like, the first thought was like, I don't throw hard enough.
I was like,
You're like, do I throw hard enough? And it was like, that's probably not what it was. It was
No,
like, hey,
well,
you need to learn a two
that wasn't
seam.
even what it was because it was a good bullpen. I was like 86, 87, like for senior year. That was pretty good. But he was just like, looks good. need to learn a two seam. And I was like, and like when I came to campus, we got actually all the pitchers got an entire packet of pitching strategy and philosophy, which I actually really fucked with. Like they like
Do you still have it?
I could look for it. Like
I'd be curious
It's
to read it.
it's very interesting. But it was like
So back, like, not to
look,
cut
what?
you, not to cut you
It's
off.
not. I wasn't even gonna say much more. It was like two. They love throwing two seams.
So, as a Gallagher guy.
Yeah.
So Gallagher, Mizuno, right? Gallagher went to Mercer, was like the number 2 overall pick. Like was like one of the highest picks out of New Jersey at the time. I think he still might be. I don't know. When did the Billy Corral go 1, or was he like a 2, or was he like just top 10?
Who?
The Eustace kid that ended up doing drugs. He's a drug dealer now. You don't know this cat? Yeah, you don't know this cat. His name was like Billy Rowell or something. He was a lefty, hit home runs at Eustace, and people were like, oh. And then like after he got drafted,
what was his name?
after he flopped so hard, like New Jersey people were like kind of blacklisted, and like that's why Trout went so late, because there was like a stigma around
New Jersey kids.
Yeah.
Oh, there still are.
Well, no, not really. There's now I feel like Jersey kids are taken all the time. That's beside the point. But what I was going to with that is, like, Denny was a Gallagher guy. He went there. I should just went there. But that's beside the point. Like, they were like, they had a really good relationship and like talk baseball all the time. So it's like, I'm just curious. Like, I genuinely want to like see that packet.
Yeah, it was like there's a lot of strategy involved with two strike counts, what they wanted to do to hitters. There was like in one entire page had in all bold red capital lettering 0-2 to 3-2 is unacceptable. And that's all the page said.
That's awesome.
0-2 to 3-2 is
That is
unacceptable.
awesome.
Yeah. Dude, Kearns was a fucking madman.
In a good way.
In a really good way. He was a fantastic coach. I'm upset I didn't get to play for him.
So like Sean,
Fred was a
so
good
I
coach,
learned
too.
a lot about like sequencing and pitch calling. Like I already knew a decent amount, but like when I would have conversations with Sean, dude, I used to eat it up. Sean was awesome. Sean Parker was the man. A lot of people had beef with him for some reason. He was awesome. And like even learning like the way he broke down, it was him actually, like 3 different personalities of a pitcher. And it's true. Manny the Marshmallow, who's soft and gooey on the inside. Jimmy the Jelly Bean, who's hard on the outside, soft on the inside. And then Ronnie the Rock, who's just an idiot. And like you can just say whatever you want. You can fire him up, call him an idiot, say he's doing great. That doesn't bother him. But like all of that, like they're all true.
Dude.
And it's like once he told me that, like blew my mind in a good way, because it's like I started seeing pitchers like, and the way you communicate with them changes. Like not everyone can accept like in your face yelling, like yada yada yada. Like there's certain dudes that like respond to it and don't, and you have to know the temperament of the pitcher. So it's like that's why it's like catchers need to learn things early to know how to communicate with the pitcher.
So underlooked.
The catcher's really supposed to be the dude. And I love how that's turned into talking about catchers, but like, a catcher is supposed to be the dude who can segue what's going on with the pitcher to the coaches. And the coach comes up to the catcher and is like, yo, what's going on? And like gives the real report. Coach goes up like, hey, what's going on? Like, okay. And then like, if you give him a look, be like, yo, like what's going on? It's like, we'll say like, might be a short lease. Like I've had conversations like that about guys where it's like
That
listen,
stuff
like this
is
wasn't,
so
this wasn't working. Like
underlooked.
we're looking at like 2 pitches today. Like
Yeah.
that pitch isn't working today. It's like, okay.
That's what a real like.
That's what it's supposed to be.
That's what
like.
it's supposed to be like. Like I remember, we'll wrap this up after this, but it's because we're getting off topic. But it's like, you remember what they said about Chooch?
Yeah.
He used to literally have different tones, different ways of communicating with every single pitcher on the
People
staff.
also didn't like they never shook him off.
Never shook him off ever.
Real Hot Eyes Perfect Game never shook him off.
No, not one pitch.
They just trusted him.
And it's because he took the time. And English was his second fucking language. Took the time, took the time to learn how each pitcher communicates, like what they respond to. Like, I think Cliff Lee was a like in your face, like you can get in his face and yell kind of guy, and he got fired up from that.
Yeah.
Cole Hamels a little bit different, like California guy, surfer. Like,
yep.
Hey man, like we're good, we got this. Like you're looking, because
Yeah.
it's like, dude, that's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true. The 3 personalities of a pitcher. That's fucking awesome.
Because I've told you that before.
Yeah.
I never told you where it
Dixon
came from,
used
did
to
I?
say the same shit.
He used to
Same shit.
Manny
but
the
he,
Marshmallow, Jimmy the Jelly Bean, Ronnie the Rock.
he didn't
Or
give him
just different.
He didn't give him names, but it was just like had a whole PowerPoint presentation on this the night before our first game. I'll never forget it. He's like, boys, there's 3 types of players in this world: rocks, jelly beans, and marshmallows. I look around this room, I see a lot of jelly beans. That's not gonna win. That's not gonna win, Bush. It was like,
Did he always go to Bush?
Bush was the punching bag, bro. Bush, Ryan Bush, if you're listening to this, I love you. You were a massive part of our team's success. He's never gonna listen to this, but he was the fucking punching bag, bro. Ryan Bush, I love that kid.
That's fine. Everyone needs a punching bag.
Yeah, everyone needs a punching
Eric's
bag.
my punching bag.
Some days you just I just catch strays, and that's fine. But anyway, thanks for tuning in to this one. If you're looking for programs, if you want to throw harder, go ahead, look in the description below. We're going to link our store. You can buy all our training materials there. Listen to our other podcasts, watch all our stuff. We got a bunch of value you can take from that, learn from what we're doing. And if there's any episodes or stuff that you want us to make, go ahead and leave a comment. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.